uh, or the week before, I was on a candidate forum put on by, they're not letting me say who put it on, but they are in favor of Prop 16. And they asked a yes or no question, raise your hand. Do you favor diversity? And do you support Prop 16? So how do you answer a question like that when you support diversity but don't support Prop 16? So I didn't raise my hand, and I did publicize the fact that two other candidates did support it, got in big trouble with the forum organizers, said I wasn't allowed to use any quotes from the forum. But anyway, so I'm a lifelong Democrat. I was protesting against the Vietnam War when Nixon was president. Um, like Simone, my wife went to Lowell and then to Berkeley, and my daughter went to UC Santa Cruz, so go Slugs. Um, so let me go back to my notes here. So I really don't think this should be an issue that pits whites against blacks, against Latinx, against Asians, and discrimination by race is wrong no matter who it hurts or who it benefits. And I've seen all the labeling of Prop 16 as anti-Asian, and I think we have to get away from that. It's anti-everyone. And we can and we have found better ways to increase diversity of historically underprivileged groups. The lack of factual evidence in the campaign by the proponents is really unacceptable. I don't know how many people have ever read the book called Place Not Race by Cheryl Cashin, who's a law professor at Georgetown. But she pointed out the result of affirmative action policies are optical diversity rather than diversity of students based on their socioeconomic circumstances. So I'm Jewish, and I'm sure people here, especially Michael, have known the history of the Ivy League schools that used to discriminate against Jewish applicants the way they discriminate against Asian applicants now. And it was wrong then, and it's wrong now. Um, and the Asian history into the United States is quite similar to what the Jewish history from Europe to America was like. The people that came over, they weren't college educated. They opened restaurants, they opened stores, they worked in the garment industry and sweatshops, and they were determined that their kids would be educated and have a better life. And the children excelled in school, and academically they qualified for the best schools, but the discrimination at that time meant their chances of admission were small because the Ivy League schools wanted white Christians and not, quote, Hebrews. Same thing happened with the first wave of Chinese immigrants from southern China. My wife's family was part of that wave. Her father was in college in China when the Japanese invaded. They fled to Hong Kong. Then they emigrated to America when he was in his 50s. And her dad worked at a cook at a Chinese restaurant, only got to come home on weekends for days off. And my wife was the first of 8 kids to go to college, graduated from UC Berkeley with a bachelor's degree, went on and got a master's at University of San Francisco. But the recent wave of immigrants from Asia are much more educated. They came and worked in the tech industry, started companies, and their kids had the economic opportunities and educational opportunities that the other immigrants didn't enjoy, and they got admitted to the top colleges because of their academic success. So I'm not going to share my screen, but I did compile a table of admissions data for UC and CSU. So it was interesting because based on the percentage of California high school graduating class, not the population, and looking at all the UCs, not just Berkeley or UCLA. So I found that non-Hispanic whites are overrepresented by 3%. Blacks are actually overrepresented by 24%. It's really Hispanic whites that are underrepresented. And of course, as we know, Asians are way overrepresented. I mean, but the way to fix this is not admitting people that aren't qualified. It's going back and addressing the economic disadvantages, the K through 12 educational problems and fixing the root cause, to just, as someone else said, and I use the same term, put a Band-Aid on the problem is just not going to work. It's going to make people fail. It's going to cause antagonism between races. It's just absolutely the wrong way to go. And I really appreciate when Ling spoke and what she posted. Democrats will always fight to end discrimination on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, language, religion, gender, age, and sexual orientation. I had not seen that until now. It's already up on my website because I think that's very powerful. Basically it means that no Democrat should be supporting Prop 16. And we know that's not the case. But personally, I've seen the polling, and everyone knows that when this far out, if a proposition has 47% of the people opposed to it, it is really unlikely that it's going to pass, because the no votes tend to greatly increase as the election gets closer. So we still have to fight for this and get the word out. But personally, I'm hopeful that Prop 16 is going to go down to defeat. And I know in my city, which is heavily Asian and Indian, it's quite hard to find somebody that would support Prop 16. There's a couple of people, but it's very unpopular. So most of the people already took everything I was going to say, so I will finish up. Thank you.